Media Network studio production.
This is Martha Matters. From real estate, healthcare, current events, taxes, or just about any topic, we're talking about it. Call us with any questions on just about any subject. Now, here she is, Martha!
Well, hi there, and welcome, everyone. There's so much going on now, but I thought I'd take just a few minutes or this week's presentation in talking about Alzheimer or dementia, and really there isn't much difference. And it is a very, very hot topic. And to my surprise, they're now having Alzheimer clinics and everything else that are beginning to arise, not so much in Florida, but throughout the country in major hubs, the major cities. And I find it interesting. Alzheimer's, without having symptoms, can actually start in your youth, teens, 20s, and 30s if you have some bad habits. I'll tell you the first bad habit. My brother, who got it very bad, and no one else in my family did. Well, he has one difference from the rest of us. He was the Pepsi generation that literally drank 2 full bottles of Diet Pepsi a day. Didn't bother with water, ice water, water with lemon, or seltzer water or anything else. His entire liquid was Diet Pepsi. And he got Alzheimer's pretty bad, not till he approached about 80 years old, which was good, which means that he ate fruits and vegetables and other things, but not too much junk food. But that Pepsi by itself at that high volume level is what did it. Not a glass or two. We're talking about 2-quart bottles a day. Literally, that was his liquid. From late breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, everything. So that we know is no good. But let's get on. There are a couple of things that you need to have, just like alcoholism, let's say, or anything else. There is an addictive gene which doesn't help, but that doesn't cause Alzheimer's. It only will speed it up once you have it. And you should know the difference between some of these symptoms, just like high blood pressure, cardiac issues, diabetes. By themselves, they do not cause Alzheimer's. But if your habits, and I'll go into what they are, will cause Alzheimer's, including a specific gene, all these other things that people know are bad for you, like I just said, Alzheimer's, diabetes, heart issues, high blood pressure, that will only speed up Alzheimer's once you have it. It doesn't cause it by itself. But being healthy and keeping all those other chronic conditions at a minimum will do a lot to help you prevent Alzheimer's. Now, there is a special gene. It's called, what is it? Yeah, APOE4. APOE4. And they will test you for that gene if you go to an Alzheimer's clinic or your doctor tests you. That gene seems to be present every time there's an Alzheimer's. Now, we are learning more about the gene. We don't know if it's passive, active, dominant, recessive. We don't know any of those things about it yet. It's just been discovered really pretty recently. So that's one thing. And I don't know about you, but when I turned 65, Medicare and even Blue Cross and some other health companies have this what's called once a year wellness check. And the wellness check includes if you have early symptoms of dementia. Like, let's say they'll tell you, okay, we're giving you a blank piece of paper, draw a clock and mark it for 11 o'clock. And if people cannot go from 1 to 12 and don't know what the face of a clock looks like, or they miss a number or two, or have it at 12 instead of 11, something like that, that's already not just, oh, I forgot, or something like that. Those are signs of an early start of dementia. And at the early level like that, if people miss simple things, probably the biggest thing is not once in a while. I guess everybody will forget something, especially teenagers and kids that are all a little whacked out sometimes. But if day after day you forget where you put your cell phone, forget where you put your glasses, your keys, anything like that, your wallet, if every day, oh, now where is this, and every day you spend half an hour looking for those things, you have the early start of dementia. And it can be any age. It can be in your 40s, very few in the 30s, but it does happen in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And the same goes for the 70s and 80s. If you lose things all the time, you're getting dementia. And that's very easy for you to know. I'm not talking about once every 2 months you misplaced your cell phone and, oh yes, I left it by the computer. That's not dementia. But day after day, I mean, your memory, like, I'm curious to see what comes on about our president who has a bad memory. If his memory is so bad, he's forgetting where his tie is, his wallet, everything else, every single day. That is dementia, and maybe they don't want us to know that. But you know the difference between once in a great while, or if you go down to your car and forget your keys, or something like that. I know that happened to my husband like about a year ago. That is not dementia. But day after day, a real memory shortage, that is dementia. And the doctors can give you several tests. You can go there and for a checkup, and they'll say, I'm going to give you 3 words. And in a little while, we'll discuss them, so don't forget them. Mm-hmm. And it can be any word. It can even be an adjective, could be a noun, could be a verb. And if you remember only one of them or 2 of them instead of all 3, you may be getting dementia. And they're very, very simple tests. And they've really worked quite well in clinics. That's before they do an EEG. Now, there's another form of Alzheimer's that is very easily to diagnose, and that is if you have an electroencephalogram. That's like an EKG, but it's on your brain. And you go and the doctor has that test done, and they take, at the same time, they take pictures of your brain, like an MRI that shows slices of your brain. And that will show if there's a lot of debris buildup. They're called you look at it and it looks like black dots, like any form of debris. And a person without dementia is going to have clear-looking brain cells, and a person with dementia is going to have those dots. They look like sesame seeds all over the place. And that is all the impurities that your body has built up. Realize they're not poisonous, but doesn't know what to do with them. And they go to the brain for disposal. And they end up clogging some of your tiny vessels and circulation to the brain. Now, years and years ago, we used to call it senility. Oh, they're just getting old, they're senile. Well, most of that was a form of dementia. And especially if you can't truly talk two sentences together or anything like that, it all the time, you know it when it happens. And I felt very bad, but I remember vividly way back with President Reagan, he said, I'm getting Alzheimer's. And he had all his faculties together, attended all his meetings, put in 12-hour days. But he said, I want to tell you people, I'm getting dementia, even though he still made good, sound decisions for several months later. But we appreciate his honesty. And at that time, they didn't know as much about dementia as they do now. They probably would have been able to prevent the continuation of it for President Reagan. But at least, he was honest and upfront, and he knew what that meant while he still had all his faculties, and made arrangements for the vice president to fill in a little more and so forth. And we really appreciate that. I felt bad. His wife knew all about it and did her best to help him and to reduce it, and gave him more fruits and vegetables to slow it down, which it probably did. But I appreciate the upfrontness and the honesty, and it always has stuck in my mind from the Reagan era days. Now, other presidents that we've had in the past, FDR, Roosevelt, all of them either died younger or didn't ever have the gene for Alzheimer's, so that was not an issue. So being tested, and as you get older and knowing what's what, sometimes knowing ahead of time that you could get Alzheimer's and you go out of your way to prevent it, you may prevent it. And so I'm going to go over with you some of the preventable things. As you get older, you've got to remember to eat less meat. Don't eliminate meat or protein, but eat less of it. Like eat a whole steak to yourself or something like that is not a good idea on a regular basis. Part of a steak, yes. Part of a lamb chop, yes, is fine, or a pork chop, but not a 2-pound pork chop with 2 bones in it. That's huge. You've got to reduce the amount of protein you eat, but don't eliminate protein. It's very essential for a lot of things. And also, when we eat a lot of meat, I notice that with me, if like I fall in love with turkey at Thanksgiving, I'll probably eat 2 or 3 slices and maybe even chew on a wing or something. I will tend to eat fewer vegetables. They'll all go as leftovers, and then I'll eat them. It's important when you eat protein, eat vegetables with the protein, no matter how little or how much. Now, there's hamburgers and there are hamburgers. There's a half a pound hamburger, which is way too much. Quarter of a pound is probably okay, but that's going near the borderline. And unfortunately, at McDonald's and a lot of other fast food places, the hamburger patties are way less than a quarter pound. They may even be an eighth of a pound, and that is fine. And they fill it up with cheese and tomatoes and lettuce and everything from jalapeno and guacamole and you name it, and mushrooms. That's fine. That's not too much protein. But be aware of what you're eating and how much. And when I say protein, I mean all protein, even fish and seafood that are very, very good for you. Don't eat an entire pompano or something like that. They'll eat even half a pompano is quite a large portion. I usually eat a quarter of it and the other quarter the next night. But that's everybody's habits. So all of that makes a real big difference. And we've got to take a break in a couple of minutes, but I will give you some extra tips. So stay with me. We'll see you in a minute. I want to introduce you to our main sponsor, Highland Plaza, located on US 1 on the east side of the Highland Drive traffic light. We even have our own left-hand turn lane. One of the places in there, the first one on the north side, is Easy Stop, and you will be surprised what competitive and beautiful prices they have. You should give it a shot. Also, Tony's Hairstyling Salon is ideal for the entire family at all ages. He and his wife have run a salon there for years with a huge following. Also, we want to tell you about La Taberna Restaurant. It has the freshest Mexican food in town and a well-experienced chef. You will be most surprised not only by the food, but the reasonable prices. Also, I want to tell you about the nail salon. It's Luxury Nails. Let me tell you, they do everything, both for walk-in clients and appointments. Appointments are really appreciated, but they treat all clients professionally. Now, I want to repeat to you, this is located on US 1, just east of Highland Drive at the traffic light. It's a beautiful yellow building with a maroon awning. We look forward to seeing you there. Come on over.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats and chairs, and all the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Riverside, Universal, Four Seasons, Braxton Color, and Capri. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of Berlin Gardens and Pollywood. We're having a big February clearance sale, which includes all Tommy Bahama and Lexington in stock or special order, 50% off. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in Vero Beach, next to Planet Fitness. Family owned and operated since 1991. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com, and don't forget to visit our outlet and sales store directly across the street.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Sunshine, yeah. Sunshine.
Blue Dolphin Pools, strives to provide quality service with a well-trained staff in the field and in the office. They want you to know that your pool or spa investment means much more to them than just another account. They believe you have entrusted them with your investment, and they'll do their best to see that it stays in top condition. Blue Dolphin Pool has been in business over 35 years, setting them apart from the competition. Residential or commercial, Blue Dolphin will keep you in the swim. 567-5853.
Kinky Boots is coming to Riverside, a dazzling extravaganza with music and lyrics by Cyndi Lauper. It's the story of a failing shoe factory. When the owner meets up with a fabulous drag queen, she helps him save the business. Winner of the Tony for Best Musical, Kinky Boots, is now playing at the beautiful Riverside Theater in Vero Beach. But you don't have to wait. Get your best tickets now at the box office or online at riversidetheater.com.
Well, welcome back. We do have a lot of things for prevention, and I have to say this probably applies in a couple of cases more to men than women. Men who want to eat all the time protein and steaks, 10 years later they start showing signs of dementia. We do have research on that. So women don't eat as much protein on the average. They will eat meat, which is good, but they will not eat too much of it. They know the importance of fruits and vegetables, especially fruits. And that seems to make a difference on reducing Alzheimer's. Now, I know I've used dementia and Alzheimer's interchangeably, but they really are two different affairs and processes. What it is, number one, Alzheimer's is related to that gene I told you about, and it's also related to eating food with undigestible debris in it, like Diet Pepsi. Well, Alzheimer's is from a protein disorder, so they can be diagnosed separately as dementia for the high protein and Alzheimer's for both the gene and the debris that goes to your brain. So keep in mind, a doctor has other tests too to differentiate, but they are not interchangeable. They have similar symptoms and, as you know, in time, very bad outcomes. And they are very similar, but they're caused by slightly different chemical reactions. Now, I want to completely emphasize to you people that getting good sleep plays a big role. I'll quickly mention these 4 items. Yes, sleep is very, very important, and good sleep habits start when you're young. Take time to de-stress. If you come back from a hard day's work 15 hours or 12 hours, let's say as a pharmacist, or constantly active on your feet, yes, when you get home, de-stress. Do not keep regurgitating in your mind how terrible the day was and this happened and that happened. Completely de-stress. Some people play games to de-stress, like, what is it, Rummikub, Scrabble, all these other types of board games. And keep that in mind. And the other thing is, try when you get home, don't do multitasks. Do one thing at a time. Don't cook supper, but forget about the laundry till supper is finished. Do not do multitasks. That, for some reason, stresses your brain and creates a problem. So you know what to do now. So please, if you have any questions, you can call me. at 772-643-0067. And please, you can tell yourself if dementia is coming or not. It's not a secret to family members or you.